any connections with industry. It is entirely an award by artists for the artists, and it is only through very judicious selection. And I am extremely surprised that there are many, many very eminent people in the field of music, in the field of art, who have yet not got it, but I got it as early as in 2003. But there I think
करायला तयार नव्हतात आणि अशा वेळेला आशा भोसले तुम्हाला काहीतरी म्हणाल्या होत्या. काय घडलं?
See, this was in Pune again, 1988. I was asked by Sudhir Gadkir, who is a very popular compere, and he said, why don't you just hold an exhibition of a few prints, because I'm going to have the 100th performance or something or the other. And I said, Ashatai said, no, I'm coming to your place and I'm going to select. Let's put up a small exhibition. I said, Ashatai, don't you think it's a little too early? That was in 1987. And I said, don't you think it's a little too early? And she said, by the time you're ready, it'll be too late. And it slapped me straight in the face. I said, what do you mean? She said, everybody waits for things to happen. Everybody waits, for the right moment. By the time you're ready to do it, actually nobody is interested in you. So it was, I did that that was the first one. It only had about 90 prints. Thereafter, when I thought that it shouldn't be too late, then I came up with this exhibition in Pune, which was exactly now almost 10 years ago. And now I'm coming up with a book in Marathi before it's too late.
चेहरे नावानी ते येते. पण दोन्हीमध्ये मला वाटतं ते फेसेस जे आहे, म्हणजे आता जे आधी काढलेले तुम्ही, साधारणतः 650 मला वाटतं फोटोग्राफ्स त्याच्यामध्ये आहेत साधारणतः. ओके, त्याच्यामध्ये ओके. आणि आता जे चेहरे येत आहे त्याच्यामध्ये मूलभूत फरक असा आहे की पहिल्या ह्याच्यामध्ये शब्द तुम्ही खूप कमी वापरले होते.
See, a coffee table book in English, you really just have to have enough words to indicate your feelings or so they were really small, very, very small pen pictures. But a Marathi audience is far too honorable to buy a Thiller book of photographs, unless and until it has some meaning. So therefore what one has done is, I've put in equal amount of words and equal amount of photographs, so it becomes good value for money. Good advertising jargon, right?
ॲडव्हर्टायझिंगचा उल्लेख केलाय. पुढचा प्रश्न तुम्ही विचारा.
If we see the ads, print ads of some years ago and nowadays, as I say, you have been a copywriter as well. But nowadays, if I give an example of Sunday Times, you see more picture and less copy. And those ads sometimes, it's very impossible, or rather it's very difficult for them to convey the message. So would you like to say something about
really speaking, what is advertisement? Advertisement is actually a communication which actually has AIDA behind it, which is first grab attention, evoke an interest, create a desire, and finally create a need to activate action, as a result of which you manage to buy it. Now, actually, whether the words do it or the pictures do it really is not so important. In fact, I do think that the pictures and the words must both communicate different ideas to be able to communicate what you really want to say. If you were to close the headline, does the picture communicate what you want to say? Or when you close the picture, does the headline communicate? If you need the headline to communicate what the picture cannot, or if you're using the picture to communicate what the headline cannot, then your ad is a failure. That's the first rule. The word live alive. And there's a girl in the water who's having what you're actually saying, live life freshly. The combination of the picture and the headline should actually tell you the story. Now, having said that though, I do say that nowadays, with the tremendous influx of foreign brands and international strategies, where you are not permitted to change anything, because they are international brands, there is kind of an international kind of an alliance. these are international campaigns and therefore you cannot do anything. You can only change the price tags or whatever. I'm saying that maybe these brands are doing very well in a particular niche market, but it is not particularly a great idea for Indian advertising. Because unless and until the advertising agencies, the market research, the groups actually go down to grassroots and finds out what your villager needs. I mean, I remember there was a time when we did Wheel. We went into the villages and found out what is it that they wanted. Why is it that they could not understand surf? They said, Nene, how can you put clothes into a bucket and how can it suddenly become, it's like magic. You have to beat the dirt out of it, because beating the dirt out of it is a 5,000-year-old activity in India. They go to the ghats, they either use a sota or they beat the clothes on the stone. For them to actually create or to understand, okay, but you don't have to beat them, why don't you be a little more gentle? We'll give you a soap that's stronger, and therefore surf was converted into a rin bar, so that they could still feel that they had worked hard on getting their clothes white. So I do think that somehow, unless and until you connect with the biggest population, democratic population of the country, and